This is the second video in the playlist that's for 3D Experience CATIA Generative Shape Design application, but we are considering the surface tab of the ribbon that appears at the bottom of the page. Now I have done about 60, 70 videos for the wireframe tab, but this is where you start creating surfaces. The particular icon that we're going to look at is the Revolve. Some of the software may be calling it rotation or stuff like that, but CATIA for generative shape design for surfaces calls it Revolve. In the part design where solid objects were generated with this kind of an approach, it was called Shaft. Okay, but here is Revolve. Now, when you are in the generative shape design and you select the surface tab, you have a pull-up menu. One of the items is revolve. We have already done extrude in video one. And when you click on it, this kind of a thing appears. Now, when it comes to first and second limit, you can put angles or you can put up to elements. Well, I'll do examples of both. All right, so let's go ahead to uh, the interface. There we are. Okay, let's plot or draw a planar sketch. Remember, Revolve works for planar sketches. Okay, whatever sketch that you want to revolve about an axis must be all in a plane. So, for example, I can do on that vertical plane, I will sketch some kind of a spline. It can be open or closed curves. It doesn't matter. Exit. Here's one. And let me draw two lines which are going to be used as the sketches for axis of revolution. For example, I'll do this one. On that vertical plane, I will draw a line like that, and exit. Okay. And let me draw another line which I'm going to be using for a different revolution axis. So, for example, this plane, I'm going to draw another line. Exit. All right, let's start. Let me hide that one first. Notice that there are these sketches. The first one was the spine. I'm going to hide this for now. Okay, here's the situation. So we're going to go to the surface tab, revolve, and let's read this thing carefully. So it says, what's the profile? This is the profile, and I want to read about what axis. This axis, and obviously you're going to get something like that. Now you can change the angle. You can make it bigger, and then you can also revolve from the bottom by adding to it. You can see that. And of course, you can go all the way to 360. Okay, and say okay. So that's the first one. Let's do another one. So this time I'm going to hide this line. Actually, let me hide the whole revolve here. Okay, I'm going to hide this line, and instead I'll show the other line. There you are. Now let's see. Can we revolve this thing about that? Yep. Revolve that profile about this, and of course you're going to get something like so. Cancel. Now, even if you don't have a sketch plan, for example, let me hide. Oh, I forgot to save that. So this about that. So that's fine. Let me hide it. Let's go and do a revolve of this. Now you can actually go and create access on the fly. So you can say right click, uh, insert insert wireframe, or there you go make it, or you can also do some of the default one. So let's see about the x-axis. Now let me try the z-axis. It says I can't do it, and the reason it can't do it, cancel that. Let's see why. So let me look at the view, isometric view. So the z-axis is going up, and we are trying to revolve about the axis that goes up. The problem is that that axis intersects this. Now, let me try a line that is vertical but does not intersect that. For example, on that vertical plane, I will sketch a line that goes up. This is parallel to the z-axis, as you can see, but it does not. Oh, that intersects it too. Let me control Z. Okay, let me draw a line that is vertical, but it does not intersect this. For example, in order to do that, I'm going to create a line with a point and direction. The point, I'm going to make it right there. So let me go backward so that it, or forward, it doesn't matter. I'll go backward, okay? Fine. And then, that's okay. In the direction Z, notice that this is parallel to the one that failed, but the only difference is that this line does not intersect that curve. Let's see if we can revolve this. So we go to the Surface tab, Surface, or Revolve, that, about this, and notice that it works. There's no problem. So the moral of the story is that that axis cannot be intersecting this curve. Now, it can be at one end of it. There's no problem. If there is an intersection point at one end of it, probably it's okay, but not an arbitrary case. So let me hide this. What did I mean by it can intersect that, but at the end point? Let me hide that guy. Let me actually double click on that. And for the point, instead of this, I select that corner point. Notice that now this line, this axis intersects this by the corner point. Before the z-axis, which was right here, it intersected in the middle. So let's see if we can revolve this. Revolve that about this. And it works, there's no problem. But it cannot cut through it. Well, let me hide this. Now, notice that there is something in the revolve which says up to element. So let me give you an example. Cancel that. Why don't I go ahead? Let me start another art file. All right. So I'm going to draw something on that plane. I will sketch a spline very similar to what we did, or yeah, very similar to what we did. Exit. All right. And then I will create a point out here on that plane, for example, on that plane. What is that? A wireframe point on that plane. So somewhere there. Now we're going to do revolve. Go to the Surface tab. Revolve that sketch about, let's make it the y-axis. Okay. But this, I don't want it to go, 180 degrees. I want it to go up to this point, up to element, and this is the element. There we are. Okay. So this element, in case you have situations where you don't know the angle, but you just sort of make sure this is revolved about a certain axis up to a certain location, point, or a plane, or a surface, then you can do that. Okay, it's useful for some applications.